And just like that, we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show this week once again. It's been a busy day for me this morning, and it's a busy day for me all weekend. Corinder out there already. Can you get a hold of people from SneakerCon? I'm not sure what that is, Corinder, but if you want to share in the comments what that is, sounds interesting. SneakerCon. Never heard of that. Could be interesting. You never know what's going to happen around here on the show. How's everybody doing? Enjoying the long weekend? I hope you've been behaving yourself. Don't lie to me. It's okay to have fun. Just have safe fun, right? So this past weekend was down at Captain Kid Days. Wow, busy, Batman. That's all I got to say. It was a busy weekend down there and a lot of fun. For the big kids and little kids, you can see we got set up. Rob Jenkins in the room kicked things off on the Friday night. These guys are awesome, but they get on stage and it seems to rain every time. They did this at Ribfest too, but anyway, they got on stage and played as much as they could before the rain poured down for about 20 minutes, but that's all we saw all weekend long. Had a good visit with Rob Jenkins in the room and the other bands that played as well throughout the weekend. And of course, we had a lot of fun with the big kids. You can also see the Summer Patrol, the Fox Summer Patrol showed up there as well. So it was nice to see them. And the little kids had a lot of fun. I mean, it is all about the kids for the most part. We do stuff at night for the big kids, but the little kids had some boxcars that they made up. This happened on the Thursday night. Movie night was what kicked off Captain Kid Days with the Sandlot movie. I had a good time watching that because it was a really long time ago that movie came out. And I remember being pretty young and watching that movie, so it was cool to reminisce and watch that. One of the things I noticed about the movie was there's just they probably couldn't have made a movie like that today. If you go watch it again, you'll understand what I mean. But so some very happy kids there right now. And Bob Bailey stopped by to say hello to everybody. I had a chance to talk with Bob Bailey, our MPP, and he was earlier down in Sombre that day. Sombre has their gala days as well, so he was making the rounds to say hello to everybody and be a part of the community. So thanks, Bob, for that. And then later on in the evening, it was the Almost Hip that finished off the Friday night. These guys, I've seen a lot of hip bands as far as I'm concerned, and it's just my opinion, the best Tragically Hip tribute band that I've ever seen. So great to connect with these guys. I actually saw these guys at the station it wasn't the station then, it was the Mule, I think, about 5 or 6 years ago. So it was nice to reconnect with Craig and the band there. Once again, the Almost Hip. So a really successful weekend out there for Captain Kid Days for the big kids and the little kids, and just a great community event that supports a lot of the sports activities and other community events. So a lot of money raised. The Jeff Dale and Jeff Peters and the committee for Captain Kid Days did a fantastic job. One of the things I noticed about Captain Kid Days, all the volunteers, everybody gets along. Everybody has a good time. Everybody helps each other out. The baseball teams have a good time. There was volleyball going on. And we're thankful to have Mother Nature cooperate with us all week as well. So thanks, Mother Nature, for that. And thanks, Captain Kid Days, for having me out there as your MC and your live on remote guy, I guess, if you will, for that. Looking forward to next year already. All right, dog lovers. Unleash is happening down in support of Sarnia Humane Society. It's going to be happening August 11th down at Stokes Bay. And lots of great sponsors. I believe it's a few years they've been doing this now. So dog lovers, get involved in this, happening this Saturday, August the 11th, down at Stokes Bay. And music festivals. Well, music festivals are certainly popular with us, aren't they? It is the annual Brights Grove Music Fest. And I did see Aces High down. They got to play Blue Water Border Fest. James Snyder was there. Talked to him. Just haven't been able to track him down to be on the show to talk about it. But I know they've got a lot of fantastic bands. That's coming up this Saturday, August the 11th as well, out in Brights Grove. Just go to Brights Grove Music Fest on Facebook to find out more about the details. I'm a little bummed. I got to be out of town for that one, so I'm going to miss that. A lot of great bands performing there, and the beverage garden for the adults and everything, and there'll be some kid stuff going on as well. So all the best to James Snyder and the committee at the Brights Grove Music Fest for that. Well, I have to talk about it because it's my cruise, so that's why I have to talk about it. My annual karaoke cruise on the Duke d'Orleans is happening this Sunday. I always like saying that. Sunday on the Duke d'Orleans from 6 to 9 p.m. We'll be there celebrating 30 years of entertainment in the city of Sarnia, 27 years of karaoke. I was a DJ before. Yes, I started when I was 19 officially. I did before that, but 19 years old, I started DJing in a downtown bar called Mr. Mike's Variety Club. Yes, that's where I began my crazy career. And I've been putting cruises on the Duke d'Orleans for 30 years because I used to hire a band when I was 19 and pay them and rent the Duke, and we had a party. So 30 years of entertainment and 30 years on the Duke d'Orleans. I hope you'll join me August the 12th from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets are only $25. You don't have to sing karaoke. I'd like to see Jake Cherski come on and sing karaoke. I think that would be fun. He's shaking his head at me right now. It's okay, Jake. We need audience members too, folks. So if you just want to come along for a 3-hour tour, yeah, everybody's singing that song in their head now, 3-hour tour down the beautiful St. Clair River here in Sarnia. I'd love to have you join us. You can give me a call. There's a number on the screen, or reach out to me here on Facebook. Love to have you. 30 years. Wow. Yeah, I could have to do another show on that. All right. Well, he's here and he's early. I'm done early, and that's why I asked my guests to be early. Well, just before Carinder, what are you talking about, buddy? Can you get a hold of people from Sneaker? Great. Hi. Are you going to interview them? Interview who? I don't know who you're talking about. Will you be live? I might be live on the Duke cruise. You never know. We'll see. It gets pretty busy on there, and I'm running the show, so I don't know if I have time to be in front of the camera. My boy's going to be on there too, so my daughter Julie's coming as well, so maybe I'll get them to hold the camera. All right, he's in the lobby, and I try to see him at least once a week. It's not as often as I do, but we're going to bring him in here right now. Here's my friend Jake Cherski. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Awesome.
Where are you?
At my house.
You're at home.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So for those who don't know, this is Jake Cherski, and you're a lot of things to a lot of people, buddy.
I can be.
Yeah. Well, let's. I know we've got a lot to talk about here in a short time, but let's first talk about Imperials football. You're the manager, general manager.
Yeah, general manager, head coach, sometimes trainer, sometimes water boy.
How do you do it all?
I depend on a lot of people to help me out. We have a lot of volunteers, so I'm grateful that I have some people that are as passionate as me about making the Imperials great and bringing it back up to the prestige that it used to be.
Right. Getting a little bit of an echo there. I don't know if you got your headphones plugged in or.
Yeah, they're plugged in.
Okay.
Oh, there, that's better.
1, 2. I'm still hearing myself somewhere.
Oh, maybe it's a connection on this.
Oh, there. Oh, I'm still here. All right, we'll get through it. How long have you been involved with the Imperials?
13 years, since 2006, our, I guess, re-inception.
Yeah, okay. What did you play for them at one point?
Yeah, the first 2 years as, I don't know why, but as a 38, 39-year-old, I decided to don the equipment again and see if we couldn't play some football. And I had a great time, and it meant a lot. I wanted to play again, but I saw the program wasn't going in the proper direction, so I sacrificed my health and decided to take the reins and kind of guide the ship and see if we could bring Sarnia a championship.
Yeah. Well, you've been working really hard at getting us there, getting the team there. Would you say this is one of your best years today?
The last 4 or 5 years, we had 1 year where we had a little blip, but I think actually last 6 out of 7 years we've went to semifinal games. Back in 2016, I believe it was 2016, we were in the championship game, and we've always been around. We're sniffing, but unfortunately GTA All-Stars are just as great as us, so they seem to put it together a little bit.
Yeah. What's the age group of the Imperials?
It really has no age group. We've got some players, even up to a couple years ago, that were 16 years old. As long as they, have adult or their guardian or parental permission, they can play. And I mean, you can play until you think you can't play any longer. It's based on playing time, obviously, but our average age is about 24 years old.
All right. Okay. Stay with me a second. I'm going to try to refresh here because I really, the echo's really picking up here. Hang on.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. Is that better? No, I can still hear it. I don't know if are you logged into Facebook at your place somewhere?
Yeah, when it said Facebook, I pushed Facebook.
Yeah. Can you close that? Like, are you watching somewhere?
Just on my phone.
Okay, so I know you're in the app, but you also have Facebook open on besides that app? Like, were you watching on Facebook somewhere?
No.
Okay. All right.
I clicked the link, and I'm just wondering if it's maybe this headset.
Try unplugging the headset so we can do it without it.
Okay, one sec.
Here we are again, folks. This technology thing, right?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Is that any better?
Can you hear me? That's way better. Let's go with that.
Let's rock and roll.
Okay, here we go. So the audience was helping us out there. All right, so I mean, Imperial football. I mean, you do a lot of like traveling and stuff as well. What's the team spirit like right now? It's got to be up there then.
Yeah, we just won our quarterfinal game. We're going into the semifinals this coming Saturday against Hamilton.
Right.
And we've been able to glue 7 wins in a row together, so we're pretty confident. But I don't want to get too confident and fall short. I need the guys to, continue to focus on what the goals are at the end of the day and for each game and press forward so we can hopefully bring Sarnia a championship.
Yeah. What's the and that's fantastic that you've gotten this far, and also we're certainly rooting for you here. Speaking of rooting, do you get a lot of support from fans here in Sarnia?
Yeah, we probably have the best support in the league, actually, and we always have. Even when we were winning no games and getting murdered 77-0 back in the early years and stuff like that, we've always had great fans or loud fans. It's funny, you get emails that your fans are too loud and they're this and I'm like, I appreciate what you're saying, but I really love I love the game. I love the loud game. The other teams like coming here because of the interaction with the fans and how everything comes down. So it's hard to say stop being loud. I want our fans to be able to express themselves as long as they do it without cursing and swearing and being vulgar in any way, shape, or form. I don't really tolerate that, but you can be as loud as you want with Sarnia, with Sarnia Imperial Football, and we embrace it.
Well, it's okay to have the fans on your side, and fans are fans. They can get pretty worked up sometimes, that's for sure.
Yeah. Actually, David, it's funny that we're talking today because I just got about 45 minutes ago. Dylan Grondin, he was playing for us. He was with Saskatchewan Roughriders for the past 2 years, and then he came home and we signed him to play for us this year. Saskatchewan, as you know, is with the CFL, and he just messaged me, and he just got signed by the Hamilton Ticats. So you got breaking news today.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
and you're a part of that.
Yeah, I was a small stepping stone. When it happened, Dylan and I have talked over the past couple of years, and before he went to camp, I invited him out to practice. Obviously, he's such a great athlete, so we invited him out, and at that point, he ended up making the team. So when he recently didn't get signed by Saskatchewan, I reached out to him and I asked him, just while he had his name out there and while his agent's looking for a place for him to go practice or work out with, I offered him the olive branch to just, come on out and, stay football ready with us. And he was more than happy to, and he flew home and, played a couple games. And what a professional, I'm telling you. I'm just hoping, some of our players can learn from him. from what he shared with us with his experience and whatnot, and we wish him all the best. But it was nice that he picked, his hometown team to come and represent.
Yeah, he's got the roots there still. Then that's always great to see, and the guys, on the team obviously look up to him.
Yeah, there's I think 2 or 3 guys that actually played with him with the AKO Fratman down Windsor area when they were playing junior ball, and so they were happy to have him aboard and alongside, and I think it gives people that I don't know, maybe that goal or that dream, that this isn't a league where you stop playing football. Sometimes it's a league where you work your way back into, an elite level, or if you have a little bump in the road, it kind of shows that, perseverance a little bit too, and that it's a great league to accept some people that have been in the CFL and they still want to play competitively, but it's also another stepping stone that's outside the realm of CIS and, the university and your junior football, kind of like, what you would know with the OHL. That's not the school way to make it to the NHL, right? So
Right.
this is just that other avenue, and I'm glad that he chose to play for his hometown team, and hopefully he'll give us some creds along the way.
Maybe you'll get some tickets to a game.
He already talked about that, but more importantly, he was saying that maybe I could get my $5 footlongs outside of Tim Hortons Stadium, I guess. So
there you go.
We're working on that business venture.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we've got a couple of things we wanted to talk with our audience here. But before we move on from Sarnia Imperials to a little more about you, is there anything you wanted to add in there?
No, just that we're going to Hamilton for our semifinal game, and hopefully we'll come out with a win. And any support is huge support. Unfortunately, we're not at home for our home crowd, but if anything comes up along the way, you can be rest assured I'm going to make sure that Sarnia will get another home game this year. And if there's any way, shape, or form that we can pull that off, you can be rest assured I'm going to do it.
All right. Well, if there's another home game, Jake, and we'll certainly be rooting for you there. Let me know. And if I can be there for you, I will. I'd love to help you out with that. That'd be fantastic.
Awesome. Thank
Well,
you.
let's talk a little bit more about you. Aside from the Imperials football, and we know you're also involved with the Sarnia Sting as well. But you've got another celebration going on right now. You're celebrating 5 years of Philly Cheese Jakes, which I probably for bad reasons visit too often. But it's you make it hard to stay away. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. It's been a whirlwind. Obviously, when you start a business venture, you never really, I don't think you truly understand the work that has to go into it. And I had a great awakening, if you will, but it's all been good. I pretty much worked the shop. I had some great help at the very first. You get that honeymoon where you're just too busy at the very first, and then it kind of settles into itself and moves along. But, I pretty much am there Monday to Friday. We've condensed our hours 11 to 7. It allows me to, get on the road for my events and to, sell the $5 footlongs throughout Sarnia and whatnot. But I never thought that, working 60 to 70, 80 hours a week would be so much fun. And I love doing it. And, to say after 5 years that you still love it, and that's a great thing. And I'm looking forward to many, many more years.
You sound a little choked up there, Jake.
I you know what? I was a little bit. I didn't realize, but yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Good for you. And, we've known each other long before Philly Cheese Jakes. You've always, to me, been pretty much an entrepreneur kind of guy. And I know we've talked a lot, you and I, about the struggles and the obstacles, and I think we've solved a lot of the city's problems in that restaurant of yours at times. I know it's not just the delicious sandwiches that I enjoy; it's more the conversation that I get out of that. You must see a lot of people in a week.
You know what I do, and I see a lot of people that just come in for a drink or don't even get anything. I like to compare it to, one of those southern barber shops where
Aha.
where all the world's problems are solved, and it's kind of one thing when I did open it. Now, obviously, with my catering and whatnot, inside's not as unique. When you walk in, you see a lot of coolers and I'm kind of revamping stuff, and I get that, but I think that's kind of part of its little flair. It's on the corner lot. It's tucked in the corner. You kind of walk in, and usually I'm there with heaps of pile on a table that I've stolen from my customers because there's no room for an office.
It's your office.
Exactly. And I think a lot of my regular customers, they just accept it. They understand, what I do,
We do.
and how much I do. But the best part about it is, and how I decided when I was going through how I wanted to decorate and whatnot. And the best way to explain it was I wanted it to be like a cartoon. As soon as you stepped in the doors, all your world's negatives are outside. Come inside my little cartoon, because there's nothing going to be negative in there. And if you can leave with a full belly and a smile, I pretty much figure I've done my job. And that's what I wanted. I wanted this, this little place that made people happy.
Well, you've done that because, relationships. This is a conversation you and I often have, is the whole relationship thing. I mean, my son, Jason, and I come in there. And so, I mean, he's a part of the conversations now, and he's been coming in there with me for almost the 5 years. Right.
Yeah.
So you've seen him grow, and, we've seen, both of our children grow and what they go through. And I've been in there when there's local politicians sitting there that might bicker at council, but they're getting along in Philly cheese Jakes. And you really have, eclectic, I guess would be a good word to describe your customer base from all walks of life. Is that accurate to say?
That's perfect, actually. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I always thought that my demographic was basically going to be, mid-20s to mid-40 male. I thought that's really what it was. But, I have anywhere from 18 to 65, and males, females. I mean, it's so awesome to know that I touch a little bit of every demographic from within, and it makes me happy, that it kind of, how's the best way to put it? It's a reflection of me and my character, I think. And I like that. I like that I've been able to convey that in people. And you kind of, like with me, you get what you get. And I'm going to tell you right on the, kind of like you're going to tell it the way it is, whether you like it or not. But it's not personal ever.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you because I think it'll help you out. And that's what I appreciate. And that's why I like our visits, because we've had visits where we don't agree.
That's right.
And even when I ran for mayor, you looked at me dead in the face and said, well, I'm not voting for you. And I said, well, I get it. Here's your sandwich.
Well, you asked me.
No, I did. But that's the thing. That's what I appreciate about you and my clientele in general, is there's no holds barred, but it's not meant as an insult ever. We're just a bunch of people talking. And like you said, we're solving all world's issues.
Yeah, well, we've done it more than once, and maybe we need to run for something. Anyway, that's another show. But yeah, it really is a unique place to be, and I've been the guy that says, Jake, we got all these coolers and stuff, and other of us, we politely talk about you behind your back and say, what's it, and then we all just say, yeah, but that's Jake. It's okay.
Yeah, that's Jake. He'll figure it out.
All right. It's all good. It certainly doesn't stop anybody from coming back. Like, you run a clean establishment, and I enjoyed I was glad I was able to get in the other day for the anniversary, because, when I was a little bummed because Jason couldn't come with me, because Jason's birthday was Friday as well. So he has the same birthday as your anniversary there. and he was bummed he couldn't get around, but we'll get him in there this week. But when I was sitting in there, I saw a lot of people coming in that I didn't recognize, and I overheard the conversations of, this is our first time here, and somebody said that to come here, you're having an anniversary, and there's free cake and whatever, and that's got to make you feel pretty good when somebody comes in and says they were referred to you.
Yeah, I still get it on a daily basis. Hey, it's my first time here. What should I have? And I tell them what they're going to eat, and they'll like it. And it's always a fun thing. But whenever I do these I did it when I turned 50 last year. I had the 550 full Phillies deal, and it's funny because it seems like my regulars, they don't come in for that. Like, it's like, no, we're not going to take money away from you, Jake. We're okay. We don't need the deal. And it seems like a whole bunch of new people come back in. And it's kind of funny because I noticed that my buddy Dylan, who has helped me out that day.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I don't even know half these people. And Dylan's there a lot as well. And he goes, I don't even know half these people, Jake. And I go, I know, but let's get it in them. And it was a very successful day. We went. I was very happy with the turnout, and it couldn't have been better. It was perfect.
Well, I'm proud of you, buddy. I know you've come through a lot of things. Dealt with it on the business level, the personal level, and you're still here, and you're past that 5-year danger mark now. So it should be all uphill from here.
I'm hoping so.
Right on. Jake, I'm so glad I was finally able to get you here on the show and be able to brag about you a little bit. And, Philly Cheese Jakes, if you're in Sarnia, 988 Confederation Street, tell him David Burrows sent you. He might, you're not going to regret going in there. In fact, you'll be saying, why didn't I come here sooner?
That's what I'm hoping.
Right on. And keep me posted on the Sarnia Imperials football. I'd love to talk more about that. And if I can get down for the next home game, I'll definitely do my best. And maybe I can get Jason down there too.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, David, for having me.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. My friend, Jake Cherski, he's a friend. Definitely. He gets Christmas. If you get Christmas goodies from us at Christmas, you're definitely a friend. So, Philly Cheese Jakes here in Sarnia, 988 Confed. Yes, I will say the shameless plug. He deserves it. And also in charge of the Sarnia Imperial football team here. They're on their way to a championship. So we'll see what happens if they get another home game here in Sarnia. We're definitely going to get down to North Perry Park and support them on that. So thanks again, Jake, for joining me. All right. Well, moving on to my next guest. We've battled a little bit as far as trying to get her on here a couple of times. Had to shuffle her around. She's a busy lady. I'm a busy guy, but we were able to find the neutral zone to finally get her on here. And she's got a lot of things coming up. And if you're in business, there's a lot of business strategies out there. What's going to make her different? Well, we're going to let her tell you all about that right here. Coming on is Erin Strayer. Hello, Erin.
Hey, all I want's a Philly Cheese Jakes sub right now. Like,
oh, you don't even
seriously. I got to follow that. Like, I got drool coming out because that's all I want.
Well, if you're ever down these parts, you come knocking on my door and I'll take you there. It's on me for the first time because he really is. I'm so happy for Jake. He's come a long way in 5 years, so good for that. And you would I guess that's a good lead into you because you're a business strategist and coach, and you do a lot of things. You wear a lot of hats. Well, where do we want to start with you? Why don't we just give yourself some background on everybody so kind of understand what you're about?
Sure. So my prior life, I spent 24 years in level 1 trauma cardiac surgery. And I've been all over the U.S. training cardiac teams and then morphed into training cardiac surgeons and took that into stepping out and doing some medical consulting. I stepped away from that career like 4 years ago and went into medical consulting, and that led into startup companies, and that led into that and that and that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Trust me.
Just that wheel and that snowball effect that happens when opportunities come, and you're like, oh, I'll try that. Oh, you think I'll be good at that? I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I can help you, and I know I have the skills to plug into whatever you're doing, and we can make this work. And also a former life, my former husband and I owned a multi-million-dollar company that we started from a garage operation. Talk about making it big. You
Wow.
talked with Jake about, when you hit that 5-year mark, you've made it, and you've kind of like, now you're up at cruising level. We took a garage operation to an entire city block in less than 5 years and made it a multi-million-dollar company in less than 5 years. So that growth is and you don't know what you're doing. You're like, oh wait, okay, I can't pay you out of my personal checkbook, right? I gotta have a business account. How do you do that? And oh man, I gotta have HR. And oh geez, now I gotta have a sales team. And right, like all of those things that come into play, and you just do the next step.
Yeah.
You just do the next step. And so now, where I'm at now is recovering corporate women hire me to get beyond that now what stage of business. Most of them are confused and scared and quite honestly playing small.
Yeah. Well, and you make a good point there. I think there's a lot of people that do want to get into business. Hey, I'll talk about my wife, Jennifer. She just started a business here in home. And I try to help her because I've learned a lot of things, but I'm not necessarily the one to because I'm telling her what to do, right?
Yeah.
So
she doesn't want that from you. Just give me a little heads up there.
Well, that's right. And I get that. And then so I used to get frustrated. Now I just go, I see what's coming, but it's kind of like, she'll probably get mad when she watches this, but it's kind of like trying to tell the teenager that they don't know what they're doing, right? But you have to let them figure it out on their own. But
that's a lot of it, though,
there's a lot of scary stuff. I mean, you talk about HR, and let's just talk about how do I do my taxes? Why do I have to have over here we have HST and all this stuff, and it can become really. I know for Jennifer it was excitement, but very emotional and very scared.
Yeah. And
how do you get through that?
Well, here's the thing: if it's not scary, it's not big enough.
Okay.
First of all. And you have to want it at what I call a cellular level. It's not just a fly by night. It's the next shiny thing that strolls by or the squirrel outside, right? It has to keep you up at night thinking about it. It has to make you continue to ask questions. It has to, whatever that thing is that you want to do. Most of us have wanted to do it since we were really little, believe it or not, and it makes your face hurt when you talk about it. And you could talk for hours about it without having any kind of script or notes or anything. That's when you know that it's big enough and it's scary enough, and you just start taking small little action steps.
I couldn't really agree with you more on that because I have a lot of business conversations, and I help with a lot of people in different ways and stuff. And I always get complimented. People compliment people who they look at successful, right? And I go, thank you. I always say thank you, but don't think I'm not afraid, because I know where I was 7 years ago and where I am now. And I remember those times where, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore.
I think we've all
am I wasting my time? Nobody sees the value. You start having the pity party, right?
Sure.
And you have to talk yourself out of it, surround yourself with the right people and all that. But at the end of the day, the one person you got to be around. I've always said, you can walk away from me anytime, but I can never leave me.
Right.
I have to take me wherever I go. Right.
Right.
Which is really annoying sometimes. But I'm not saying anything new here. The whole mindset thing.
Yeah.
But how do you handle getting somebody into that mindset of, like you say, it's got to be big enough. It should be scary. But how do the journey has a lot of steps. How do you get that first one going?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is exactly what you said. It is the mindset, but it's actually taking the time to know what you want. And I know that's out there, and know what you want and who your target is. Well, like, get rid of all of that and like really settle in to every single experience that you've had up until right now has set you up for this moment right now, right? Like every single one, like good, bad, otherwise, we've all learned. Am I answering your question? I feel like I just went left.
No, you are. No, you are. No.
Every single, I think the worthiness, in those conversations that we have in our head, and that mindset part that talks us out of doing it, comes from, oh, you don't have a degree, and that you don't have enough education, you don't know enough people. How do you think you're going to find your clients, right? Like that whole string, and they just keep going. But when you back up and I actually myself, I went through this myself. I'm like, every single possible thing that I've experienced up until this moment, I'm almost 50, just like Jake that just got off of here. This whole thing started 4 years ago for me, coming down this entrepreneur road. And it was a whole lot of massive, hey, you don't know what you're doing. Who's going to hire you? All you know how to do is surgery. What are you thinking? You're going to come out here and teach people how to do business, right? That whole thing. But what I came to realize is I've been training people my entire life. Entire life, I've been training people. The earliest I can remember is sitting on my sidewalk with a little girl that was a year younger than me, teaching her the alphabet. And I was probably 5 or 6. You know what I mean? So every single thing, every single experience has set me up to be right now, to be able to be in the moment, to sit in this chair, to come forward with advice and workarounds and tips and strategies to plug into your business where their holes are. And that's kind of a superpower.
Well, and that's a key word in there. I mean, strategy, right? I think one of the things I always tell people is to, sit down, old school, get a pen and a paper out, and just start writing your ideas down.
Yep. And
start writing your questions down. And it's kind of like that, like the old, I call it the old network marketing thing. They say, start writing down everybody and you have like a memory jogger there, right? But as you start writing things down, more comes to you. I don't care who you are. You start doing that. That's how the ideas come out. That's, write it down on a napkin kind of thing. So, but then don't you have to kind of prioritize what you want to tackle first? Because I know, like, sometimes I've done stuff where I go, I want to do, like I was doing live years ago, for example, but I wasn't ready there. I wasn't there yet. I knew I wanted to do it, but I had to do other things first. Is there a process then?
I'm in the mindset of just do it. Like, don't wait.
Okay.
I am in the, let's just keep moving forward state of mind. It might not be the right step for right now, but you're still in a forward motion, moving towards. So, we can sit here and dream all day long about wanting to make it happen. We can dream and wish and hope about making it happen, right? But dreaming and wishing and hoping don't have action to them.
That's right.
Okay? I'm going to get real with you, man.
No, it's true.
And it's true. And quite honestly, goals don't happen until the dream happened first. So the dream happened first, and you wanted it bad enough that you started applying action to it.
Yeah.
And the action became a goal. And it might just be step 1. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to have a podcast. That just happened for me. It was supposed to happen in January.
Yeah.
But I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And the shows kept piling up. And I'm like, I don't know how to rip audio. I don't know how to do this. I don't have an intro. I don't. And then I just finally said, well, I don't do do-overs. I don't edit. It's a one and done in my world. It always has been. And I just finally did it. I finally did it. Yeah. I'm like,
And
There
look
it
at
is.
you now.
There it is.
And the reason I say that is because you're boy, oh boy, I don't have enough time for you. I knew I wasn't going to have enough time. We're going to do, you and I are going to start our own separate show. We're going to do 1 hour.
Done.
And we're part of a team as well. I know this 5 days live, I was excited to start things off with Brigetti and Linda and Stephen Healy producing us there.
Yeah, it was a great show.
You're on tomorrow with Stephen.
I am on tomorrow with Stephen. Talking
What's
about
that gonna be
planning.
about?
We're planning.
Yeah. Oh,
We're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
right.
planning.
Planning a show.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you start, quite honestly, my show started a year ago on a dare from my biz bestie girlfriend. Because nobody would have me on their show. Nobody would have me on their podcast. I didn't have a big enough following. No, I was a nobody.
Right.
And my girlfriend says, when's that ever stopped you before, Erin? Make your own show.
Wow. She just threw it right at you.
She threw it right at me. I know. And I'm like, I don't know how. I can't. I don't have the technology. I do surgery. I don't have any kind of tech background. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I talk in front of people all the time. That doesn't scare me. Give me a mic. I'm in heaven. Right?
Yeah,
but
I'm
this
with
was
you.
scary. This was scary. And I said, cool, you challenging me? You're going to be my first guest.
Oh, hey, that's awesome.
So I just kind of came right back at her. And honestly, I thought I was going to have my 3 or 5 best friends on, that were entrepreneurs that were on as guests. And next week will be my 100th show. So
That's fantastic. Congratulations to you on that.
thank you.
I know. And we were talking earlier about you gotta have an episode 1, right? Whatever that is,
Oh my
whatever that
gosh.
looks like. So I've already got it. I've started writing a book. It's called Episode 1.
And, oh my gosh, yeah, bring
But,
all of us in on how horrible episode 1, but it's like you get it done and it's under your belt and it only improves from there.
I will after today's show, I will send you a YouTube link of my very first recorded series that I ended up doing 330 episodes of. But episode 1, you'll look at and go, ugh, who's this guy? Not a clue. Okay, not tuning back into him. And all my friends had a really good laugh for a while, but then 7 years later, here we are today, right? So,
Yeah.
episode 1. Erin, thank
Somebody
you so
like
much for joining me here. I'm sorry I've got to move on here,
Yeah, we
but
gotta go.
just before we do go, any final words? Or I've got your links. I've been sharing them a bit, and I'll be posting them after the show.
Thank you. Yeah, jump on live with us the rest of the week on this 5 days live. David, you're on multiple days this week. I'm on tomorrow. It's a great information for if you're planning on going live, if you want to up your game with your live videos, if you do any kind of training. You don't have to you're a live streamer if you do video. I'm just saying. Whether it's just inside your closed group or not. It's just amazing, great tips from some amazing people that are out there doing awesome things. So
Yeah. And where are you? You're in Michigan, right?
I'm in Michigan. Yep.
So we're not far from each other. Whereabouts?
We're just through the thumb, right? I just got to hop over the bridge to go see you.
Yeah, I'm right on. I'm sorry, you're right on.
Sarnia.
Right on the. Yeah. So how far is that from you? 3 hours?
Hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
Oh boy, that's
I
trouble.
know. Look out. We're going to meet at the
Okay.
bridge.
Okay, awesome. We're gonna better call immigration and warn them we're
Right?
coming. Oh boy, Donald Trump
I'm
won't
coming
know
over
hit
for
him.
a
Okay. Erin, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward. I'm going to be tuning in tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern,
Awesome.
on Be Live and 5 to watch you. And I just know, I just got a feeling about you and I think we're going to be doing some more things together.
It'll be entertaining, David.
I better warn my wife now.
Bring her
All right.
on. Bring her on.
Erin-
Hey, thanks
Erin
for having
Strayer.
me.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Have a great day. My new friend, Erin Strayer, and she brings a lot of positive energy, which is always a good thing, right? Nothing but positive around here. That's all we want. So check Erin Strayer out online on Facebook. You know how to do all this stuff. Just type in her name, Erin Strayer. She loves making new friends. She'd love to hear from you and have the conversation. And who knows, she'll probably help you out with your business and money and all this other kind of stuff. I would have to do probably a 2-hour show on Erin Strayer. So go check her out online. And look, you saw the smile. She's laughing at me now and everything, the big smile. Nothing wrong with a big smile and positive energy. So thanks again, Erin, for joining me. All right. Speaking of positive energy, my next guest, he's certainly got it. And he's quite funny too. And there's a special show coming up here in Sarnia at the Library Theater. We're going to bring him online right now. Here's my friend Erin Hopkins. How are you, Erin?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks. I've seen you waiting in the lobby there. Did you learn anything yet?
A lot. I didn't realize how far our football team was making it. That's for sure. Didn't know much about them at all. So
that's great. It's great news when we have local teams that are doing great things here. So, speaking of doing great things, you're apparently a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, that's the point, I guess. Yeah, stand-up comedian. Yeah.
What is the? This is probably a common question, and I would have to say, being a stand-up comedian's got to be one of the toughest things to do, to get up on a stage. You're all by yourself. You have no backup. It's just you and a microphone, and you're way outnumbered by the audience. Why would anybody want to put themselves in that position?
Because when you do good, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
When you win the audience over and you actually have like a good set, there's nothing better. For the most part, it is the hardest thing in the world. To start is the hardest, like actually doing it for the first time and really going for it, which there is actually people on this show that'll be doing it to this scale for the first time. Chris Norton, this will be his like fourth or fifth.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I was blown away by the first time I saw a video of him. I've known Chris a long time. Mm-hmm. And in his family, and I think it was in the Imperial Theater bar or something like that. He did,
yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa, there's Chris."
Yeah.
Is the toughest audience the people who already know you?
No, that's the easiest audience.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Their expectations for you are they already know you, so they already know your style. They probably already know the stories you're about to tell.
Right.
So it's more or less actually people who like you enjoy your first time more than most. It's when they see you for like the 10th or 11th time that they start to get sick of you.
Yeah.
But the new crowds are the crowds like out of town crowds. Crowds filled with comedians are probably the scariest crowd because they're the ones really judging you. So yeah, I mean, that's the cool part about the growing shows in Sarnia is that we're starting to see more of them pop up,
right?
And it's bringing people out of the woodworks like Chris Norton. There's another guy from Petrolia on the show, Matt Burdan. He's not on the poster because we weren't sure if he was going to do it yet or not, but he's going to do it.
Ran out of room.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it kind of just blew up. I didn't know how much attention it was really going to get at first.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, it's nice to see because I know there have been some attempts around here for a few years and some successful, not so. I mean, you know, we've even seen Jeff Leeson frequent Sarnia, and he's just amazing. But on the local side, I have to tell you, I've often thought about it. I've thought about doing it, but the thing that stops me is how I feel people already know me. I'm not really known as a funny guy. I don't consider myself a funny guy.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, right? Is like at first you never really know how it's going to go, but you really do have to. If you want to do it, you just have to. Like even if it's just like a bucket list, like check it off the list. Like this is something I'm going to try once or twice. You never have to like go as far as like some people are and try to do like a theater show or anything like that.
Right.
Like, you could keep it kind of low key, like an open mic. Like London has them probably 3 or 4 times a week, which is yeah. But Sarnia, it's like this is it for the rest of the summer.
Yeah. So what's the process in preparing to go up on stage? I mean, obviously, you got to have an idea what you talk about. I'm kind of a wing it kind of guy, and I don't know if that would be good or not. Like, do you sit down and do you write your jokes? Do you write things out, or do you talk to an iPhone? How do you prepare?
There's it goes comedian by comedian. There's a bunch of like your Jeff Leeson, you talked about him. He's off the cuff, so everything
He totally
does
is.
he's all improv. So he doesn't really. I'm assuming he has like a ritual before he goes on stage. Maybe he prepares himself. But I write everything that is going on stage with like a few cues and things like that. But preparing is just like kind of getting yourself in the zone, because you do know your own story for the most part. What you write, it's fairly easy to remember. It's just kind of preparing yourself, calming yourself down for right before you go on stage, just making sure you don't forget the stuff you've written.
Timing and delivery is everything, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Comedic timing can't really be taught. Pacing to a degree can be, but I mean, some of the best comics out there, that's some of their jokes aren't even the best jokes. It's just they tell them so well. Like they just have the knack for funny is really what it comes down to. Like,
do you have I mean, you mentioned Jeff Leeson, so obviously he's a favorite. And my wife, for example, she doesn't like a lot of comedians, but she loves Jeff Leeson. So we go see him whenever we get a chance. So there's a connection there. That connection with an audience has got to be really important. How do you try to connect with your audience?
Connecting with an audience is pretty important. It's kind of like being relatable is the way to really connect to an audience. Jeff Leeson has a very different way of doing that, where he straight up just talks to the audience. Yeah. So for people like me or other comics, it's about your material being relatable, so that when you say it, people connect with it rather than actually having a conversation. Jeff's a conversation with the audience kind of comedian, which is why people like it so much, because it's like he doesn't really ever talk about himself. He talks about the audience. So people really do like the. And
if you try to talk about him and turn it around, you're going to lose.
Yeah, well,
it just won't happen.
He's the best at crowd work for a reason, right? So like, not a lot of people, like, I don't touch crowd work very often, just because it could go bad quickly. So, and it has many times, especially when people decide to heckle, shout things out at you while you're doing your show and things like that. So, I mean, it's preferred that they don't, but in this business it happens. Yeah. So he wants it, which is an unusual trait for a comedian.
Yeah, he kind of opens that up and he almost teases you to do it, right? But so how did this all get started here? It's coming up. What's the date for the event? It's coming up Wednesday, August, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, August 8th. It's the way it really happened is we've been doing shows here and out of town and all over. We go to Toronto all the time. Alan went to, like, my brother, who's also on the show. He was Humber writing and comedy performance program, things like that. So it's the way it really, this show got started was just me being like, I really want to start like a local roster of comedians, so that when we start bringing in more shows, it's not just me and Alan opening for them for here on out. Right. Like, we can have like a little bit of a roster of people to pick from and actually try to expand, maybe do shows more often than once every 3 months.
Yeah, well, that would be fantastic. Once a month would be fantastic. I'm sure that would be a good goal to hit. So, how do you decide? How do you pick who's going to be? Like, do I just say, "Hey, Erin, I want to be on"? Am I in, or like, what's the process of that?
It is a little more complicated than that.
I would hope so.
For a show like this, it definitely is, especially when you're charging money for tickets. You don't want like a 5 to 10 minute period where no one's enjoying the show. Yeah. So I had to do a little more hand picking for a show like this one. But open mics, it starts with open mics and things like that. And we don't really have the opportunity to do as many. We got pretty lucky recently. Matt Burdan, the guy, Those Guys Comedy, he's been doing open mics in Petrolia lately.
Oh.
And getting people to do like Krabby Joe's. There was one just at Actors Dining there in Petrolia. And that's kind of how I'm discovering more talent, because that's the only way you really can. Right. Chris kind of came to me with like a notebook filled with ideas and was like,
he would.
Can I do stand-up? Like, can I try it out? And I was like, you know what, man, let's throw you on the next like the one Imperial show in the capital that me and Alan were headlining. And I was like, you know what, just open it up, see what happens. You got to try. And he was very nervous before going on. He was like telling me, he was like, I don't know, like, should I be doing this? Like, I don't know. And I was like, you won't know until you try. And now he's hooked.
Now he's hooked.
Now you can't get him to stop. Oh yeah. He's really good.
So yeah, I'm hoping I can get out there Wednesday and see this. I've got to juggle my schedule, but I'm hoping to get there. But what do you have like a dominant subject that you talk about? I mean, comedians seem to talk a lot about relationships for obvious reasons. I mean, you can make fun of any relationship, but is that what you talk about, or what's your style?
My style's it's storytelling, but it's mostly about how stupid I am in various situations. It really comes down to, some of it is relationship based, some of it is just real life situations where I said something very stupid and had to deal with the consequences. Dealing with and I think that's kind of where the relatable side of my stand-up comes in. It's because you just kind of eventually pick up on the fact that you've done some dumb things too, like to that degree. Like I actually work at a Refined Fool, like I'm a bartender there, and they came out with a boysenberry saison, and it was the first time in my life that I thought it was poisonberry. This whole, like, I had never seen it written down before, and I said that out loud, and like 3 people looked at me and were like, "Are you serious?" And I was like,
"And you're the guy serving it?"
Yeah, and that's an example of like, oh, I just had never seen it written down before, and that's really stupid. Like, why would that be a thing ever?
So I guess if you're gonna make fun of yourself, nobody can really offend you.
That's to a degree. So it's that's pretty much my style in a nutshell. Is like self-deprecating, but also like I had reasons for thinking what I was thinking at the time. So it's like it's kind of a common trend on this like set of people who are performing. Like Alan and me are actually very different in our styles, but similar at the same time. Okay. He's not so much self-deprecating as he is just like straight up talking about things that are like weird or like that he's done mistakenly rather than stupidly. It's really weird. Chris's style is mostly about how feminine a straight man he is. That's kind of.
Some of us have had discussion about that at times,
which would come up, and it's a very key part of his stand-up, and it's very well structured. He's very good at talk. Well, I mean, you live the life for as long as Chris has. He obviously has lots of experience with it. Lauren is like probably one of the best female comics this side of Ontario, like easily. So that's a big thing for her, is that I don't think she realizes it yet, but I think she is one of the best female comics in this area, like here from London, easily one of the best.
That's fantastic. Well, it's exciting that it's going to be happening the Sarnia Public Library this Wednesday, August 8th. And what time do things get started?
We're going to open the doors at 7, but the show won't start until 8. And Chris is actually going to be hosting it, so he's going to be right on stage at 8 p.m.
Ah, okay. Perfect. So can people buy tickets in advance, or is this just at the door? How does that work?
Yeah, it's all, you can buy tickets in advance. They're actually for sale at both Refined Fool locations.
Okay.
And there's probably going to be some left at the door too, I would think. So either or.
Fantastic. Well, I'm hoping I can get down there and see. I might drag my wife out there to check you guys out. I think if I was ever going to do stand-up comedy, I don't know how much you know about my background, Darren, but I was a karaoke host for like 25 years.
Okay. So
I could probably put some karaoke comedy in there.
Yeah. Well, that's better experience than most people. At least you're used to the microphone, which is oddly enough a real problem, it turns out, for new people. So
is that right? I would think you'd want to be ready for that. Like
yeah, sometimes when people try it for the first time, they've never even spoken into like a microphone before. It's like completely new.
And they're like
ball game for them.
Yeah.
Holding it too close or too far.
Right. Well, congratulations on putting the show together. And we'll make sure that everybody, we'll post all the links here after the show to make sure people know where to get the tickets, etc. And thank you for taking the time to be here on my show. And please keep me posted of these events. I've actually got a couple ideas for you. I wouldn't mind connecting. Maybe I'll have to stop in the Fool there and use that as an excuse to talk to you about a couple ideas that just got me thinking while we were talking here.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. It's always good to have some more advertising. So
yeah,
definitely willing to take it. And
free's good, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but ideas, we're always willing to talk about new ideas too. We got to get more going on in Sarnia for things like this. So
I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. Well, kudos to you and the team for taking it on and getting things rolling down there at Sarnia Public Library 3. And hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday night. If not, have a hilarious show.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Aaron. All right, Aaron Hopkins. I was so glad I could connect with him and get him out to join us here today because funny guy. And I call him my friend Chris Norton. We haven't talked in quite some time, but we've known each other through the industry for quite some time. And he is very, very funny. And I'm sure the rest are going to be just hilarious as well. So if you're looking for something different to do during the week, it's a Wednesday night, this Wednesday, August the 8th, here at the Sarnia Public Library Theater. Great theater. It's only $10 for some hilarious entertainment. You're probably going to say, I'm so glad I did that. So check them out there. There's a Facebook group there, the Sarnia Comedy Showcase, if you want to find out more information. Wow, I'm overtime, and that's okay because there's nobody telling me what to do, but it's easy to fill up an hour when you've got fantastic guests. So thanks to all of my guests for joining me. My friend Jake Cherski, very proud of him for hitting 5 years, and congratulations to him on that success, and also the success of the Sarnia Imperials, a football team, having great success. Hopefully we'll see a home game back here. Jake's going to let me know about that so we can get down there. My new friend, Erin Strayer, I'm loving her so much. She's got great energy. You should reach out to her and find out more about her and how she can help you with your business, and just have a conversation with her. And we're going to be, I just got that feeling, you connect, right? We're going to do a talk show together. I'm sure of it. And then of course, Aaron Hopkins there talking about the comedy showcase coming up this Wednesday. So thank you so much, everybody. If you've been watching live and you enjoy the show, do me a favor, type 10 down in the comments below. Give us a 10. I want to know that you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, do nothing. And if you're watching the replay, please type replay. Type a comment below to say where you're from, and I'll come back through all the comments. I will be posting all the links to all of my guests here so you can find out more about them. Thanks, everybody. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend, and I will talk to you next time right here on the show live. Bye for now.